Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we talk about the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. It's our pleasure this afternoon to be coming into your homes and to be talking about the goodness of the Lord. Welcome to another in the series, Sip and Chat, a place where we look at the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Indeed, we know that better days are ahead of us when we go to glory. But while we're yet here on planet Earth, there are some stories that need to be told. There are some experiences that need to be broadcast. And we give God thanks that we have an opportunity through this medium to highlight some of the success stories of persons who have been through many challenges but are standing strong today as a result of their faith in God. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are at home, get your cup, whether it's coffee, whether it's tea, your cold beverage, and even a hot beverage, as we join me this evening in another in the series, Sip and Chat. With me this afternoon, I have a very, very interesting guest. You know, before the show, we have these little pre-discussions, and I have a guest today who I know would have a very interesting and enlightening story, would have you glue to your television sets this afternoon as she shares with us just how her life has been and how she has managed to overcome many struggles. So with me this afternoon is my guest, no other than Mrs. Carlene Dixon. As I say, you're a very, very interesting person because of your experiences. And that's one of the things that we find that, you know, every day we walk by persons and we just see them. But to know their story, it's another, as my grandmother said, is another kettle of fish, right? So I just want to tell Jamaica today who is Miss Dixon, and then we're just going to go right into the meat of the matter. So tell us a little bit about who you are and so on.
So I'm the wife of Crystal Dixon. Crystal is a male, yes. I'm the mother of two. I'm also a part-time teacher, just like everybody else, because school is at home now.
Okay, that's right. So all the persons who wanted it at their lifelong dream to be a teacher, but never get to one of those institutions. COVID has given us our credentials, and now we are homeschool teachers.
Yes. I do a little counseling sometimes on relationship and marriage, and preach some of the time. It's amazing. When I say preach, I mean I feel so overwhelmed about it, knowing where I'm coming from, and God is good. And I live by Psalm 23 verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Oh my, tell you, this question is that I told you she's going to have us glued today to our television set. Now, Miss Dixon, I know that you're a Christian now. You're very involved in your church, very involved as well with the kids ministry. Tell us about that transition that you made from not being a Christian to now being part of the body of Christ. Tell us about that transition.
Well, growing up for me was really tough, because as person we say, dreams, goals, and inspiration. For me, it's more of a survival strategy of how to survive, because there's a lot of things that we did not know. My mother, I was fatherless. So my mother was the one that raised us. And then I branched off into so much different things. Because then I think me a hot girl, yeah. Because those times, you think you're hot and hair on fleek and stuff like that, and it doesn't care what anybody wants to say about you. And I end up in the wrong company. I start selling different items.
Like you're a hustler for
Yes, I start hustling and I start selling marijuana from I was 15. My mommy didn't have any idea about that because she had to work so hard. Mm-hmm. And what I want to say is that persons, when their kids go off and do bad stuff, persons have a tendency to say, them not under good parenting and stuff like that. And that's not true, because she had to work so hard to provide for us. She didn't have enough time
to monitor
us.
Now that's a very important point. So you're saying to us this afternoon that contrary to what a lot of persons will say is that, well, a boy turned out bad or a girl turned out bad, it's because they were not properly monitored as a child or didn't have good parents. But you're saying in your case, being a single mother, your mother had to work so hard to make two ends meet that even if she wanted to, she didn't have the physical strength when she got home to be able to say, just monitor what you guys are doing. So while your mom was working in the mainstream, you were working on the side.
Yes, I was working on the side. And when it comes to love and experience, it's the way that she was brought up. She had to bring to us.
Right.
So there was not a lot of things that she would have known. And I would stand proudly to say she's a really good mother. And if I could choose, I would definitely choose her again.
Right.
So she had to raise us in the way
I hope she's watching.
She had to raise us in the way she knew how.
Right.
So I went off and get into bartending and stuff like that. Growing up, persons would say you're not going to become anything. And when persons say that you're not going to become anything, you believe that.
So that's also another very important point. And these are on Tip and Chat, we talk about teachable moments, right? A lot of persons love to make statements about people. And not everybody gets off to that kickstart. Not everybody, when the whistle is blown and the gun is fired and say go. Not everybody is in lane and heading straight to the finishing line. Some persons are so encumbered with the cares of life that even when the signal come to go, they can't move. They're either buffeted by lack of finances, lack of support, lack of just that sheer willpower because of what they've been exposed to. So you're saying that you're one of those persons that, even though probably there were other things, you didn't have that kind of exposure to make some of the right decision at the time, but you started doing something. You're a bartender. Talk to us about some of those other experiences.
Yes, I'm a bartender. And even though I was a bartender, there were certain things that I did not do. I was more on the hustling side of it. And I was just trying to say, you know what? I'm going to make two ends meet because I really want things to work, not knowing who I was. So when you don't know who you are, you have a tendency to drift into different areas of life.
Right. And I think part of it too is that as we did our preliminary discussion, you were saying that you almost as a big sister kind of felt a little responsibility to try to help with the finances too, because you had other siblings. So in a sense, you were also trying to buffet whatever money your parents had so that everybody could be happy.
Yes, that's buffeting. I mean, like, I can talk now and I'm proud of the things that I am saying now because it's my testimony. And I can say, you know what, to somebody who's out there going through stuff and who have been through things, don't be ashamed because God is still in control. When it comes to con man, I had a PhD in that.
You know how to get what you wanted.
Yes, I had a PhD in that. And it's where you're raised because you're raised with somebody who's older than you, saying, the man there, take that kind of age there, take that kind of person there, because you're hustling. And at those times, it's not really value, it's looks.
Right.
So you have to look good and stuff like that.
Key in the back of your mind was that I'm doing this because I want to help out the financial crisis in our society. And so some of the issues and some of the things that kids are exposed to, even in the inner city, are real issues, right? And so the tendency to label people as just worthless, you're not a shame, you're not an ambition, is not always a very fair statement, because somebody said, until you're in somebody else's shoe, you don't know what the experience is like. Right. But I'm so glad, because, this program is very short and very exciting. But as you got saved, what are some of the things that you recognize about your yesterday?
As I got saved, I realized that what I was doing yesterday was nothing. I thought I was hot yesterday. And today, I realized that I was a fool to the devil. I was a fool. Because most persons out there are doing stuff and saying that they are hot. And when you understand who you are and whose you are, and you understand your purpose in God, sit back and you're saying that, you know what? If I was God, I wouldn't have chosen me.
One of the things I always remember is this other song that says, He knew me, yet He loved me. He whose glory makes the heaven shine. Here we are, so unworthy of His blood. And that's what makes Jesus so special and such an awesome God. Because even though, you're coming out of all kind of situation, all kind of, a grime and mess and so on, He has a way to pick us up. One man said, turn us around and plant our feet upon a higher ground. So you had your experiences. I mean, one of the things that we laughed about when we had a dialogue outside was the many careers you had, because you told me that you're a plumber, you're a
Yes.
hairdresser, you're a bartender, and those are really things that you can actually do.
Yes.
And it's all in the name of just, boy, what can I learn? So
Yes.
it wasn't like, boy, you were caught in this rut and you just drop your hands and die.
No.
What were some of the things that motivated you to strive?
My family, my husband.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, he was a blessing. He's a blessing from God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we start talking and stuff like that, I was saying that I wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's
And that would have been because of your previous experiences.
Yes, I've been molested as well. I've been raped before. So there's a lot of things when you go through stuff like that, you think that you're not worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when my husband, I remember the first time he said that he loved me, I cried. I was like, no joke can make nobody. I don't think somebody ever loved me
Because of your yesterday.
because of my yesterday. My husband is my biggest motivator. My kids as well.
Right.
I mean, if I'm going the wrong direction, my husband would say, this is the way to go. And when it comes to faith,
Oh, God.
I am a faith-based person now that I know who I am.
So what I just really want to catch this punchline, that even though your yesterday may have been so marred, so dark, you don't have to die in your darkness. And just all you need is that window of opportunity to be able to just break forth and respond to the call into a brighter tomorrow. And that's exactly what you did. And so I want to say to somebody who is watching this afternoon, there is no yesterday that is too horrifying for God to recreate.
Yes.
And we notice in the Bible as well. We see it as, one would say, with thief in Zacchaeus. We see it with the prostitute. You know what I'm saying? We saw with the woman who was caught in the act of adultery.
Yes.
Society would have wanted to ostracize her. Society would have wanted to kill them. I remember when Jesus called on Zacchaeus, they said, no, serious, Jesus, you're going to this thief in man's house for tea? This is Zacchaeus,
Yes.
the tax collector now. But that is how Jesus, my friend said, this is how good God is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That he looks beyond our faults and he sees our needs. And you said it rightly. He sees potential within us, even when we don't see anything about ourselves. So talk to us about now getting saved and the enthusiasm, being motivated by your family, your same mother too,
Yes.
right? And your husband and
my
the kids and
sisters.
your sisters as well. Talk to us about coming to church now. You seem to be somebody who is very zealous. What is it that is still fueling now? You talk about faith. Talk us a little bit about that.
Well, I've been through a lot since I've been saved.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, we need to understand that when you get saved, you're picking up a battle. It's critical or it's stable, right? Because when I was out in the world, I was fine. Health-wise, I was fine. And then when I became a Christian, there was so much things that went wrong. I can share this testimony. I had a fibroid issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when the doctor told me that I was diagnosed with fibroids and I had to do a surgery because I was bleeding so badly, the doctor that gave me the diagnosis is an head surgeon. And he said to me, I am not going to take your case.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. He said, I am not going to take your case. And let me explain why it was really bad. Because I am allergic to all painkillers, including Panadol.
Wow. You're a real case.
So
all painkillers, even Panadol.
Even Panadol.
So when there was the dengue and the chick V and the Zig V, you didn't catch any of those?
Yes, I catch it. And even when I catch dengue, the doctor was saying to me that I don't know you're going to survive because Panadol is the only thing you can take. She said, I got it and I nearly died. So how are you going to manage?
Because the pains were so excruciating.
Right. And I said to her, as I always say, God is able.
A bartender now being a Christian.
Yes.
Telling a doctor that God is able.
Yes, I said the God is able. And I was going through the struggle. I mean, it's not easy because there are a lot of times I had to call persons and just to explain the pain that I was going through. Sometimes person would like, I can't even imagine what you're going through. But experience is good.
Okay.
Experience is good because when you go through things, you understand who you are. Because God is not going to leave you. He's not going to forsake you. And you have to go through something to get something.
Okay.
And as today I sit here as the Carlene I was then, I'm not that same Carlene anymore. You have to know how you're talking to me. Because you're not just talking to Carlene right now. You're talking to the God in Carlene. I know my value. And my life as from then, when I became a Christian, works with an invitation. It's not open to any and everybody.
Right.
And and for me, I learned this value. I'm not responsible for what you have to say. That's your responsibility. I am responsible for what comes out my mouth.
Right, because the Bible tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
So what we have to do is that even when we come out of our yesterday, we have to leave that rhetoric aside if it is negative. And we have to now infuse our conversation with positive language, because you'd have been exposed to so much negative.
Yes.
So having made that transition now out of darkness, just like myself as well, out of a life of sin into light, we now need to affirm the promises of God that we're a royal priesthood, we are a holy nation. And sometimes some persons love to use our past against us, depending on what your past is, at their own convenience. They will use your past against you. But you talked a little bit about the fibroids and what became of that.
So I had to do a drastic detox. I had to do a drastic detox where I didn't have anything to eat, just fluid and dry food. And all glory belongs to God. Because even though I was doing all of that, I was still going through some things. I remember one morning, I got up and I said, you know what, I'm not going to church, because I didn't feel like going to church that morning. So I lied down in the bed, and we had a visitor at my church, we had a visitor from overseas, Pastor Shaw. So that's one of our prayer leaders' son. He was the one that was preaching that Sunday.
Okay.
And I decided I wasn't going to church because I was so depressed and down. And as I lied down there, I heard a voice said, get up and go to church. And that same Sunday, when I went to church, and he prophesied to me and tell me about the fibroids and tell me to do fasting for 3 days. And after going...
So this man, he didn't know you.
No.
He just identified you. And he called you and talked to you about the fibroids.
And he told me to do the fasting for 3 days. And after doing the fasting, for me, as I said, I'm faith-based. I believe that God is not going to leave me. And for me, your pain is a professor. That is what teaches you things.
Why? And some of those lessons are very hard.
Yes, very, very hard. And I believed. And after I did that, and few months after, when I took the test, I was okay.
What a God.
I was okay. And you see, the thing is, when I know that when purpose, the devil don't touch you or go after you if you're not worth anything.
I heard somebody use an analogy to say that people don't stone empty mango tree.
No.
So it's when they see things on the tree that they go after it. And so it is with the adversary. He doesn't disturb you if you're not a threat to him.
No.
As long as you're not doing anything that is disturbing his plan, he doesn't trouble you. But once you are destined for purpose and you're a carrier of something that's meaningful and profound, then you find all these challenges. I mean, Carlene, I just want you to talk to us about, I know that we how exactly do you survive those moments when you're going through those challenges? Talk about it, but tell us a little bit more detail, how you survive.
When going through those challenges, I get up and I pray. And one of the most important thing is your company.
Right, okay.
So just as how Jesus had fed the multitude, and when he had fed the multitude, he said to his disciple, go over that side because I'm going to dismiss this set of people. In your life, you need to know who to dismiss and who to dispatch.
Okay.
Because when you're going through things, it's not everybody is going to understand what you're going through. Some persons, because they have not experienced that before, they think that you're exaggerating. You have to have person that when you tell them that I'm going through this, they jump on it. For me, I have a good support system, not only at home with my family, I have a good support system at church. I can proudly say I have a lot of persons at my church that stand behind me and stand with me. And with those persons by my side, I knew that I was going to make it.
Right.
Because God is in the center of everybody's business. And when He's in the center of everybody's business, we all understand the connection. That when you're faith-based and you understand that this is a God that is not going to leave you nor forsake you. When you're going through things and you can call on somebody and said, back me up. And they're not even going to ask why.
Right.
They jump on it.
So based on your experiences in life and what God has brought you through, you can say to Jamaica today that Jesus is not a figment of your imagination.
No.
He's a real being, one who speaks to you and one who responds to the cries of your heart and deliver you in a situation. I mean, you've been through so much. We have to have like a part 4, a part 5, and a part 10, right?
Yes.
But just talk to us, Carlene, about having been through some of those situations in your darkest hour and how you have survived. Where are you now in your life?
Okay, from now, 2019 was my worst year ever. Because I've been through so much thing for 2019. But little did I know that 2019 would have been 2020, would have been my best year. My best year, seeing that COVID and most persons are going through a lot of stuff. That was the year.
What are you saying?
Yes.
So you're saying in the year of COVID was one of the best years of your life. Talk to us.
The best years of my life. So 2020 was when I did I launched my t-shirt line. That was the line that the experience that I've been through. I can stand behind the quotes on my shirts.
Okay.
I can stand behind the quotes on my shirt to say, I'm me fi tell you about God.
Okay. So you're using those t-shirts now as a method of evangelism.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a method of evangelizing. I can tell somebody, say, God are the boss and everything else a basket.
Okay.
Because He's great, He's excellent. So at this moment now, I have a t-shirt line that I'm launching. I also do charity from it because giving back makes me feel a fulfillment.
So let me see if I understand it clearly. You're a young entrepreneur, but you have made a commitment that as you go down, as you embark on this new endeavor, you're going to sow back to people.
Yes, I am.
How awesome. Talk to us about the importance of reinvesting in people. Even if you don't have a lot, but the importance of investing through your charity. Why is that important?
It's important to me because somebody had believed in me.
Okay.
It's important to me because a lot of times you want somebody to believe in you, or you as a young girl who persons have been saying a lot of things about. As I can look today and I can encourage somebody, it doesn't matter what you have been through, it doesn't matter how much persons you have slept with, you are still a good choice
for God.
For God.
Yeah, somebody needs to hear that.
Yes.
We can't get some tea. I know coffee is not your thing,
yes.
But boy, you know, it is so amazing, but God is so good. You're saying that you cannot be too tattered. You cannot be too battered. Whoever you are, as long as you have an encounter with God, He's able to transform and realign you and put you on a new path. Your life will now be plotted on a new trajectory of success and blessing. You will have challenges, but like you're rightfully saying, with Christ in your vessel, you can smile at the storm. What an awesome story. So now you're doing the t-shirt business. How is that going?
It's going very well. I'm in the process of launching an online store. And I'm in the process of getting a base. But I do Instagram.
Right. Because everybody's
yes.
on that. Those are the new stores now. Your Instagram link, you know, everybody can find you on that, right?
Yes,
right.
You can find me on Godly Tees. Godly Tees is the name of the t-shirt line. And I mean, persons gravitate to it because persons sometimes might not sit and listen to all of what you're saying, but a shirt can evangelize to them.
So, Carlene, if I'm understanding you correctly, as we are wrapping up now, right? What you're saying to us is that even in the midst of adversity, you can still come out with a smile.
Yes, you can.
Just talk to Jamaica as we wrap up this evening about just remaining faithful and focused in God.
Well, I just want somebody to understand that you cannot be too damaged for God. And what I understand for me is that when I look at somebody, knowing where I'm coming from, I see a soul before I see what you're going through. And that is the problem with most Christian, is that you're too concerned with what the person is doing. And God is not really concerned in what they're doing. God is more concerned about their unbelief. God is concerned that this lady don't believe that I can move her from point A to point B. I'm saying to somebody, it doesn't matter what you're going through. God is still in control. And we all serve a God that changes time and season. He's that kind of God. So if you think that you're not worth anything, you are worth everything to God. And you, as an individual, you have a purpose. You're not just here by mere coincidence. You are here for a purpose.
Boy, I know that we could continue this discussion for an entire day, because I just had some chit chats outside with Miss Mary's surname, Miss Dixon, right? I mean, I was so caught up in the discussion. I had some discussion with Miss Dixon, but there's just so much to people that we don't know. But as we wrap up today, I want to say to somebody out there who just feel like a loser. Huh? You just feel like, boy, everything in your life is just going downhill. They say that it's not over till the fat lady sings, but that's not my thought. It's not over until God says it's over. And all he needs is just an opportunity to transform your situation. He became so that we could become. Wherever you are today, whatever your status is, remember, we serve an amazing God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ever ask or imagine of him. Miss Dixon, I want to say thank you so very much. I know that our viewers will definitely want to hear more about your story, because I know that there is more. Sometimes we thought you were actually dead.
Yes.
But here you are today, reflecting God's radiance. Thank you so very much for coming, and have a very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for Sip and Chat.